So I had no intention of doing another ASICS shoe so soon, but after skating the Gel Vickka, I think that ASICS follows the Japanese manufacturing principles of Kaizen, which means continuous improvements or changes for the better. And I'm gonna explain the 4 reasons why ASICS could take over the skate shoe game, and I'm gonna explain them all through this shoe. But if you don't know, ASICS started making skate shoes around 2020 with like shoes like the Gel Vickka Pro and the Aaron Pro, but ASICS has been around since 1949. But if you want more ASICS history, go watch the Vickka or the Legoretza videos. I go into it a little more over there. But ASICS, being a Japanese company, has some intrinsic differences from the giant corporations you're used to seeing, and it gives them a leg up just because of their basic business philosophy. But this shoe, the Gel Vickka, came out in 2021, and it was originally a gym training shoe from the 1980s. But if you didn't know, this is the shoe that won over the legendary pro skater Gino Iannucci to skate for ASICS after his time at Nike. During that interview that we did with him, he talked about how good this shoe was for him, and after hearing such high praise from him, I decided to give it a go. So I actually went on a 10-day trip to Copenhagen and took 3 different pairs of shoes with me, just to test them out, to see what I liked while I was over there. I ended up just wearing these the entire time I was there because I liked them so much. And I think this is an experience a lot of people are having with ASICS skate shoes right now. And all that kind of boils down to the principles of Kaizen and like Monozukuri. In manufacturing, Kaizen is a Japanese concept meaning continuous improvement. It's a philosophy and methodology focused on making small, ongoing, and incremental enhancements to processes, systems to achieve long-term improvements in quality, efficiency, and productivity. Kaizen involves empowering employees at all levels to identify waste, solve problems, and implement sustainable solutions in a systematic and consistent manner. And Monozukuri, which the broader meaning encompasses a synthesis of technological prowess, know-how, and the spirit of Japan's manufacturing practices. The spirit includes a sincere attitude towards like production with pride, skill, and dedication, and the pursuit of innovation and perfection. These are principles that kind of set the standard for business. Like we follow a lot of Kaizen principles here at Rose Anvil. Like our whole manufacturing process, like our whole YouTube process, it all follows like these continuous improvements to minimize waste. It's the reason that Japanese made goods have such a high standard. It's like everybody wants Japanese made denim, boots, tools, and cars. Here in Salt Lake, we're in Toyota Tacoma country, so everybody loves their Toyotas. Japanese made stuff has a really high bar. It's something that both Gino and Casper immediately picked up on from the brand when we asked them what was different about ASICS than other shoe companies. So with all of that backstory, what is the shoe and how does it explain ASICS? So the brand is ASICS, the style is the Gel Vickka Pro. They weigh this much, they come in at $90, they're made in Vietnam. So the positioning from their website says the Gel Vickka Pro is inspired by the Vickka training shoe from the 1980s. Its original design focus was to help increase stability during complex training movements. Today it is revamped with a skate-specific functionality. The upper's forefoot features a one-piece construction that helps reduce tearing. Its sock liner design is based on the movement analysis that occurs while skating. This component applies different levels of pressure on the inside and outside to help promote a better center of gravity and stability. Lastly, our gel technology is strategically placed in the heel to help decrease the impact of hard landings. If you want to try out these shoes, we'll put them in the bio and you can test them out for themselves. But we've seen in other shoes like the Gel Vickka Pro that ASICS takes a lot of their technology from their old shoes that they've released and kind of like puts them all into the skating things. Like this, the Gel Vickka is like a combination of like 6 different shoes in one. So they do have a long history of Frankensteining all of their cool technology together. So let's get right into it. Reason number 1, the one-piece hole-cut suede upper. So suede is typically the default material for skate shoes because A, it's cheap, but B, it's also the most abrasion-resistant part of the entire leather cross-section. Leather is just like a bunch of fibers all held together, tightest at the top, loosest at the bottom. Suede is down here, it's loose, it's cheap, but it's really good at resisting abrasion. I definitely prefer suede, especially over like the cheaper PU coated leathers that you see at this price point of shoes. But getting into the stats, so this leather is only 1.4 millimeters thick, which is a little on the thin side. Usually you don't want to go below 1.5 or you start getting to some treacherous territory because you can literally just pull suede apart if it's too thin and loose. So we put it on the Rose Anvil abrasion test to see how it competes with the other guys. So on the abrasion test, we take a sample from the shoe, the suede leather on top, and it rubs it against an abrasive, which I use Mob Grip, which is the grippiest grip because it'll just tear your shoes up. And then the machine kind of rotates in a circle and the sample also spins while it's rotating, kind of like a teacup ride. It's probably the closest you can get to simulating, 3,000 plus kickflips and ollies as you can get. And it wore down really slowly. Like its increments were going down at like 0.01, 0.02 millimeters at a time, and it took 3,761 strokes till failure. So our best performing shoes so far were the New Balances, and they've taken 2,000, 2,500 or so strokes to go through. It's over 1,000 more than the top dog. I did not expect a leather this thin to last that long, but like you can see where I've been skating it, and I skated it for about 3 weeks, and You know, this fake leather right here kind of popped off, but I'm not even going through at all. It doesn't even seem close to going through. I'm blown away though. I was not expecting it to do so well. So shout out to ASICS leather development team. Whoever's on that, they picked the right one for skating for sure. So not only is the leather the best performing so far, but it's also designed not to fail with the one-piece upper. And if you've watched this channel before, you're a boot guy, you know that we love a hole cut upper. You see it in some of the best, most expensive shoes on the market, kind of like the Crown Northamptons. But what does that mean to you? So for skating, any stitching on a shoe is gonna get kicked through like immediately because you're just rubbing your shoe against sandpaper. And even the leather will start to delaminate. But if you have one single piece of leather that has no seams and it has no built-in fail points where like if leather's stitched together right here, it's gonna pop through and open up. But this has nothing, it's just one solid piece of leather. So the pros are, A, it's way more durable because there's no fail points like I just talked about. There's no stitching, there's no nothing, it's just leather. And some of my favorite skate shoes that we've done, like the Warsaws and even those Ours Is Yours and Last Resorts, kind of use a similar hole cut upper, but they're also like 1 or 2 man operations, and this is ASICS, a giant corporation. But speaking of small companies and starting slow, this company Cassette, which makes these sweet sunglasses, they actually started in Utah. They sent us a bunch of stuff. We met one of the reps when we were in Long Beach for New Balance, and he sent us a bunch of pairs to like unbox, and I've been wearing my personal pair, I think this is called the Playlist model, so much that I was like, I'm just gonna give these guys a free plug because I'm literally using them so much. What I really like about them is that they're super cheap. Like they're really affordable sunglasses. Like I hate spending a lot of money on sunglasses. Like you spend $200 on a pair of sunglasses and then I throw them in the car and I sit on them and they break in half and then I'm pissed. So these are all, they're really affordable, which I like. They're like $30 to $50. I think their most expensive model is like 60 bucks, but B, they're really good. Like they're polarized. I can't see the screens right now, so they're actually polarized. Like I got them, I was like, oh yeah, like I'll see if they fit. Sunglasses never fit my head, like whatever. But I took this pair, I wear them probably every single day. Like I ride my bike everywhere. I barely even drive my car, and this is like an essential of mine that I have to have. So I want to give them, I didn't even tell them I was doing this plug. I'm just running it because I like them so much. Go check them out. All the stuff will be in the bio. Just want to give them a free plug because I like them so much. That's pretty much it. But the cons of this method are you need to use a much bigger piece of leather, so it makes the process much more expensive since you can't Frankenstein like multiple smaller pieces of leather together. So the leather you choose has to be higher quality, especially if you're doing this at ASICS scale. So that's probably why the leather is a little thinner, but honestly, it doesn't matter if it held up that well to the abrasion test. So that brings us to the ASICS advantage, and that comes from the Monozukuri, the Japanese idea of craftsmanship and pride in making. Instead of like over-designing, ASICS focuses on a single refined construction that feels very intentional. It's really about quality over flash, and it definitely shows in its durability. Like, I am shocked at how well this actually held up. So this brings us into reason number 2, which revolves around board feel, break-in, and longevity. So this is a cupsole shoe, which typically means it will be thicker underfoot, have less board feel, and be stiffer than a vulcanized shoe like a Vans or a Converse. Now, obviously, this shoe will not have as much cushioning as other cupsoles, like you can see just how slim it actually is. But it does have ASICS gel cushioning somewhere on the inside. I'm not 100% sure, but its name is, you know, gel. The Gel Vickka, so it definitely has something on the inside. We saw in the Flex Ski video that this little tiny patch of gel in the heel goes a long way. So I'm interested to see where and how it's implemented in this shoe once it's cut in half. But the amount of cushioning worked a lot for me. Like you get a lot of board feel. You probably get the second most board feel of any cupsole I've skated, second only to that Ashad shoe that I just cut in half. But you definitely have more cushioning than any of the other slim shoes I've skated, like the Janoski, the Samba, the Vans Currents, pretty much all the Volk shoes, and a lot of the cupsoles that just use that egg crate midsole instead of foam cushioning feels way better than all of those. And another unique thing is that the insole is dual density, semi-removable, like it's glued in there pretty good. So if you want to switch the insole out, you probably want to do it before you skate it for 3 weeks and can't get it out. Good Lord, like I just did. Like you can see, you can pull it out, but it's gonna take some of that foam underneath with it. Whoops. My bad. But the insole is dual density. It has a firmer asymmetrical foam like on the outside of your foot. When you're just landing, you get a little more support on the outside and you feel a little more cushion directly under your heel. But if you're really hucking yourself down big drops, you'll probably want more cushion. Like I tap out at like 5 stairs tops. Like we went to that Love Park in Malmo, and there's like a little 3 stair at the very end, jumping down that a bunch, like over and over and over and over again. And it felt perfect. But with a cupsole, it breaks in super fast. Like it's good to go pretty much right out of the box, which I think can be a red flag sometimes. I think it was Andrew Reynolds that told us he hates when there's no break-in because it means that the shoe is going to get too soft and too soggy too quickly. And I definitely agree with him on that. But while this one does break in a lot, it doesn't completely lose its form. Like there's still definitely some stiffness. And you can see how this one piece upper kind of goes along with the break-in. Like you can see where my toes were right there. So it molds to the top of your foot, but this bottom portion stays, you know, pretty stiff for what it is. It's not gonna be like crazy stiff, but it definitely holds its shape for a long time. So overall, I was super impressed at the cushion and board feel on this shoe. And that's where, you know, advantage number 3, it's like it's seeking harmony, not extremes. Instead of chasing like the softest or the thinnest, ASICS engineered balance. It kind of mirrors how Japanese companies focus on long-term usability rather than flashy first impressions. They're not trying to win over with gimmicks, like they're aiming for a shoe that works every single day. And I think they nailed it. Like I really liked the way the shoe felt below my feet. And for reason number 3, it's the flick and like the functional design of the shape of the shoe. It's very good. It's a very good balance of being pointy, but still wide enough to be comfortable. Like you're not jamming your feet in. On a lot of shoes, like that's like your pinky toes rubbing against there, but the flick felt so good. I think ASICS has some of the best shoes. Like I thought this flick was good on the Flex Ski, but like this flick on the Vickka was so good. Like I probably did my best kick flips in the last few months in these, and they just felt good. It just like rolls off the shoe. But the shape isn't everything. It's like the way the outsole rubber caught the board was great. So we took some measurements, and it comes in at about 60 Shore A, which means the rubber is a little softer than your typical cupsole, which is like 65 to 75. And that means it will be much grippier and squishier, but it comes at the risk of being much less durable. But you can see that I never went through the outsole. Like it's definitely getting worn out where I flick right here, but in other shoes, like I put holes in them. Usually the trade-off is if you want more board feel and like a thinner shoe, you're gonna get less durability. But like this one, it's holding up just as good as pretty much all the beefiest cupsoles I've skated. So that's pretty much everything we can see from the outside. Let's cut the shoe in half and see what's inside. I'm really curious on what is actually inside because I liked how it felt so much. And we can go over the 4th reason why I think ASICS is poised to potentially take over skate shoes. And this is a rare occasion where I can actually keep one pair of shoes and cut a different pair of shoes. So I'm very happy for this. So let's cut it in half and see what's inside. Okay, so I got it chopped and filleted and cut open all sorts of different ways to run all the tests. Make sure you sign up for the skate testing pool to get your clips or opinions in the videos. I've been reaching out to a lot of people lately. And go check out our leather belts or wallets or like even the camera harnesses that we hand make in the shop just over my shoulder over there. They're super sick. I really love the belts. I tell everyone they should get some. So let's see what's inside. Okay, so there's a few weird things in here and some cool stuff too. The structure looks pretty similar to the Legorezza that we just cut in half, and those were super comfortable on foot, so it makes sense that these feel really good. But my first thought when I saw them chopped was I was like, where's the gel? Like it says Gel Vickka and I don't see any gel. Like in the Flex Key, you can clearly see that there is a pad of gel there. It's like a different texture and everything. But you can see there's this little tiny patch right there. It's kind of different. There's a little square, you can see it. It's different than the actual midsole foam. So I reached out to ASICS asking why the gel looks so different, and here's what they said. This is straight from the designer themselves. The gel for the Vickka was developed as more of internal construction to be able to be lightweight. On the other hand, the gel for the Flex Ski was developed as molded material as visible technology construction. They're both for shock absorption, but different purpose. So they're both gel, they're just a little bit different. This one's a little more like foam, and this one definitely feels more like gel. So I asked why there wasn't more gel, and they said more gel means to have more weight and more cost. So in order to provide light product and affordable price as much as possible, so we decided to utilize the minimum size of gel. And even at the minimum size, they had really good feedback from skaters at the time. It's not a bad thing that there's such little gel. This is something that we see in tons of skate shoes, like Nike has little zoom packets on the heel. DC had that little tiny gel thing. I'd be curious how a shoe that's just full of gel would perform, but it probably cost a lot. But whatever they did in the shoe, even with this little tiny patch of gel, it definitely worked for me. So overall, you can see there's 5 different densities of foam under your foot. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different densities under your foot. However, it's all structured with the asymmetry. It all really worked for me. You put it on, your foot's getting a nice hug when you put these on. And you can see the outsole's pretty thick. Like, it's thicker than the Flex Ski. It comes in about 5 millimeters thick, which is pretty solid. Like, The thicker it is, the longer it's gonna last. I know one of the people in the skate testing pool said his shoes didn't last very long, which is crazy to think because mine are lasting a ton of time. They were saying that the shoe lasted about as long as his normal Volks, but so far mine has stayed like really solid, like really good. Like you can see it right here, like there's barely any wear. I wore off that and it just formed to my foot, so crazy. And one bonus thing, I think that this amount of foam in the tongue is like my perfect amount. It's not too fat, not too thin, just cushiony enough. So that kind of brings us to reason 4, which is the brand philosophy and future growth of ASICS. So it definitely feels very intentionally designed, and it feels like ASICS actually went into their deep well of like knowledge and all of their old silhouettes and technologies and added just enough to make it a really good shoe. So ASICS is still really small in skating, but that's its low-key strength. ASICS didn't just like jump into skating and start pumping out millions of pairs to flood the market. They scale very well. They're focusing on like earning loyalty over time. Like they're starting very slow, which I think is a great position to be in for ASICS. That philosophy is exactly what skating needs, especially if you're a big corporation coming in. It's like you have to start slow or else you're gonna get, you know, gatekeeped, I guess. All the core dudes are gonna be like, no man, I don't support that, even though Nike and Adidas and New Balance are like the biggest companies right now. But you know, we all know the companies that come in too hard and blast the market with ads, or companies that have gotten acquired and just kind of lose your trust for profits. So skating is a tough place to be. Like you have to play your cards exactly right or you get shunned, which kind of sucks. So the overall ranking on my confidence chart, 1 being I cannot skate in them and 10 being I'm actually Tony Hawk, I would give these an 8. I'd say it's tied up with all my favorite shoes that I've skated so far. There's a couple things that I think could be improved, or like they could be a little bit stiffer for me, but like I could do everything I wanted to do in them and they were solid. And honestly, just for wearing them, like I walked around like 27,000 plus steps for like a whole week in a row when I was in Copenhagen, and they felt really good. It was like just as good for chilling as it was for skating. So you can go watch that new ASICS video that just dropped and you can count how many people are wearing the Vickka, and it's a lot. So I'm super curious about the future of ASICS, kind of where they're gonna go in skating. Hopefully they don't just like pull the rug out from underneath everybody if, you know, the market starts to go down a little bit. But let me know what other shoes we should cut. I wanna do some big videos like all of the Vans skate shoes, or like a big like who makes the best dunk style skate shoe, but they cost a lot of money. So watch these videos so they get a ton of views, so we have reason to spend all of that money to cut everything in half. I think that's it. Let me know. I'm super curious of what other people think about the shoe because I really liked it a lot. Sign up for the skate testing pool, and I think that's it. I'm out. Peace.